I'm going to give an overview of my pro-Black to pro-me journey. People like to give diluted definitions of what it means to be pro-Black, so let me be clear about what I mean. People often confuse being pro-Black with being pro-Black civil rights. Pro-Black is an ideology and lifestyle where you date Black, you marry Black, you shop Black, you build Black, etc. One of the goals of being pro-Black is exclusivity. To be pro-Black is to put Black first in every area of your life. So starting from when I became pro-Black, I've always had pride in myself and my heritage. I have always seen the beauty in Black American people and our resilience regarding the abuse and discrimination that we face. I was well aware of the history of racism in this country. There were a few events that took place that showed how alive and well racism currently was in this country, and that is what started my pro-Black journey. Those events were the murder of Trayvon Martin in 2012, the murder of Sandra Bland in 2015, the racist pool party incident where the Black kids were harassed in 2015, and the mass murder of the 9 church members in 2015 are what really pushed me into being pro-Black only. Around 2016, I became pro-Black women, Black children, and progressive Black men only. I saw that some Black men didn't care about Black women and were pro-Black male only. These were the men that we referred to as hoteps at the time. Then, around 2017, it became clear that it wasn't just some Black men who were pro-Black male only and didn't care about Black women. It was the majority. I had also realized that the majority had no want to build, protect, or provide for the community. I stopped caring about the majority of Black men, and I was very selective about who I gave my support to. Around 2018, I became pro-Black women and Black children only. In early 2018, a Black male was killed by the police, and sure enough, this Black male was exposed for being extremely hateful towards Black women. I was not surprised at all, and at this point had come to expect this behavior from Black men. Shortly after this, I became pro-Black women and Black children only. I saw that even if certain Black men weren't degrading Black women, they weren't defending Black women either, and that made me have no respect for them. The so-called good Black men were always silent and nowhere to be found when the bad Black men were insulting and degrading Black women. I also want to note that as time went on, more was revealed to me about the degenerate nature of Black men. Black men showed themselves to be extremely insecure. They were a conquered demographic too scared to stand up to white men. They were even more hateful towards Black women. They were degrading Black women for having dark skin, a Black feature that they have as well. They were degrading Black women for having Afro-textured hair, another Black feature that they have as well. They were degrading Black women for having Black facial features. Again, the same Black features they have as well. They were violent and terrorizing every community they stepped in, and also would become the cause of the murder rate of Black women and Black girls being every 5 hours. They had no care or concern about creating multiple broken homes by having multiple kids with multiple women, and many Black fathers neglected their children. At this time, I still believed that with the right upbringing, there was still hope for Black male children to be raised right. Around 2019, I became pro-Black women and Black girls only. There were a lot of situations that I was alerted to that showed the abuse and degradation that young Black girls were facing from their Black male peers. This made me realize Black boys would grow into the same conquered Black men and could not be fixed. There was too much outside influence by other conquered, weak Black males for them to not be degenerate. Their demographic was too far gone. It seemed as if the behavior of Black males was a genetic issue and it was in their DNA to be degenerate. Around 2020, I became pro-Black girls and like-minded Black women only. At this point, we had seen countless examples of Black men's hatred towards Black women. I realized Black women were not actually learning and would still choose a Black male over me and other Black women and Black girls even after seeing how much Black men had disrespected them over the years. I realized that most Black women were simply too male identified and too Black male obsessed to care about the treatment they were receiving. Around 2021, I became pro myself and Black girls only. The women I've known of in divest or BWE spaces have always only halfway or partially matched my mentality. I'm not saying we have to agree on everything, but the main things that are important to me are a must. And even if we do disagree on smaller things, any argument should be based on logic and not emotion. The closest person I've known of to match my mentality and thought process is Chrissy the YouTuber. We are very similar in the way we think. She is very logical and she is also very action oriented. Outside of her though, it was very difficult finding other Black women that matched my mentality. And that is why I became pro myself. In regards to Black girls, I still wanted the best for Black girls and still believed that they could be guided into being confident, having high self-esteem and high self-worth. I also want to note that as time went on, Black women showed themselves to have very low self-esteem. They were choosing to be SJWs for other demographics for attention and validation. They were choosing to display degenerate classless behavior or supporting other Black women who displayed degenerate classless behavior. They were choosing to degrade their own features like hair and skin tone on social media sites for the whole world to see. And they were choosing to demean their own existence as women to praise and uplift delusional males that claim to be women. Around 2022 or 2023, I can't remember which year, I became pro me only. I realized that if I struggled to find one Black woman who matched my mentality, I needed to ask myself, why would Black girls be any different? It didn't make any logical sense. This made me think that Black girls would not be able to be guided either. At this point, Black women behaving the way they did and Black girls unfortunately potentially growing up to behave just like them no longer seemed like a guidance issue and seemed to be more of a genetic issue. And that is my journey from pro-Black to pro-me. I saw someone say that the more pro-Black you become, the more anti-Black you become, and that is 100% true. That is because the more effort one tries to put into the Black community, the more observant one becomes about the lack of effort the vast majority of Black people put in. What I had to learn was that the collective of Black people either don't care about creating a functioning, self-reliant society, don't care about having pride in being Black, including having pride in their hair, skin tone, and facial features, or they display, support, and encourage degeneracy and take no accountability for their actions. Now, I use pro-me loosely because obviously I wouldn't be making these videos if I 100% believed there were no Black women who matched my mentality. But I use pro-me because I haven't known of any, closest being Chrissy. And that is why I am using this space as a way for us to connect and discuss our shared mentality.